Hi. So by the end of May, 7 months before the race day, I signed up for the Ironman. That in itself was one of the hardest things to do. Just the act of committing, of putting your name down, requires a kind of courage that people don't often talk about. It's very easy to underestimate. Now, be it half Ironman or full Ironman, just signing up is hard because once you sign up, there's no going back. The clock starts ticking and the race becomes real. Around this point, around this point in time is when training just overtook my life. It was, I think, June and July, and training was now about longer sessions, building up volume, higher intensity. I was doing swimming, cycling, running with just enough strength training to stay balanced and to avoid injury. There was no drama yet. It was just repetition, day in and day out, finding time for your workouts, working out despite the motivation dipping on some days, and a growing sense of awareness of what I had signed up for. I think 5 months before the race day is when reality started to assert itself. Bustleton, which was the race venue, is a small coastal town on the west coast of Australia. It was already sold out. I found out that athletes secure their accommodation nearly a year in advance. I hadn't. So after like a few days of frantic searching, I finally found an accommodation that was not perfect, but it was close enough to the venue. So I could walk to the venue on race morning. And that mattered because on the race day you are waking up at like 4 a.m. and you are starting before sunrise, and you can't be worrying about transport at like 4 a.m. in the morning. Around the same time, something else surfaced. I had started with like a slight twinge in my left ankle during a run. Not much, nothing dramatic, but it was enough for me to notice. In the subsequent workout, the pain returned a little more quickly this time. I went to the sports doctor and uh, he sent me straight to the physiotherapist. The verdict was clear: no cycling or running for at least a month. A month. This was in August, and my race was on 3rd of December. Time was not something I had in excess. But the physiotherapist was very firm. He was very strict. He said, if I don't listen to him, then forget about the finish line. I won't even make it to the start line. So I paused my running, I paused my cycling, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. However, training did not stop. That was out of question. So now training took another shape. My entire focus was now on swimming and on doing strength training. These were the only two options which would not aggravate my pain. It was not, it was not glamorous, nor was it reassuring, but this was the only sensible option left. By I think early first week of September is when I was allowed to return to running and cycling. However, cautiously. Load your body 1 kilometer at a time is what my physio had told me. So my ankle would hurt before the workout, it would hurt after the workout, but as long as it did not pain during the workout, I was allowed to continue. And it was such a torture. Like I remember icing my ankle every day religiously after working out. And I'm an airline pilot. So the getting injured would not just have affected my ability to train, but also my would have also affected my ability to fly. This particular phase of my training just felt like as if I was walking on a tightrope. Like one small step could unravel everything. By then, I think by end of September is when I ran 10 kilometers, pain free. That was a landmark. My physiotherapist had been very clear. If I could not run 10 kilometers continuously without pain, then Ironman was off the table. So, me running 10 kilometers was a big deal. It changed everything. For the first time, for the first time in weeks, the race felt possible again. I'll see you next time. Bye.